let me introduce you to each other. So Mr. Vikaas is the co-founder and director for Braininfinity. Mr. Paresh is the co-founder and director for CerboTeach Education. And Mr. Arindam is the principal for GD Goenka School, Jammu. And so you're all kind of interrelated to the topic that we are doing today. And also, you're diverse enough that we are hoping for a very fruitful discussion.
विकास जी नमस्कार।
नमस्कार परेश, कैसे हैं आप?
नमस्कार, आप बताइए। लॉन्ग टाइम।
बहुत बढ़िया सर। थैंक्स टू गुलशन भाई कि उन्होंने कनेक्ट करवाया।
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure. Yeah, Nikita, please start. Started recording and everything. Yeah, please go ahead.
Should I start recording?
Yeah, I've already started recording. In case if you want, you can, but I've already started recording,
no, okay.
So it's absolutely working
all
fine.
Right. So good evening to all of you, and a very warm welcome to all our esteemed guests. I would like to begin this webinar with a quote from my very beloved Albus Dumbledore character. He said that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if and only if one remembers to turn on the light. And on this note, I would like to begin the discussion for today, which is on the topic of student mental wellness and the role played by schools. My name is Nikita, and this webinar is a part of an initiative by Inspiredvalley to bring a spotlight on the topics of relevance for today's generation. Mental wellness, as we all know, is an arena that has gathered great attention and momentum, especially in the post-COVID world. And it's a topic that's more relevant today than ever before. So on that note, I would like to introduce our guests. I would begin with Mr. Arindam Roy Choudhury, who is the principal of GD Goenka Public School, Jammu. Sir has been into teaching for the last 25 years and has been a principal for the past 16. He has played an instrumental role as part of CBSE affiliation committee, mentored schools during the CBSE mentoring program, and done much more. He's also an MSc MPhil in mathematics from Jadavpur University, Kolkata, and he's a research fellow at NCRT New Delhi. Sir has conducted a number of workshops on a wide range of topics, from mathematics, which is his favorite, as he says, to life skills, experiential learning, and more. Mr. Paresh Yadav is the co-founder and director of CerboTeach Education Private Limited. He's an engineering graduate with 27 plus years of experience in a variety of roles. He has been working in senior leadership roles for the biggest conglomerates like Tata, Reliance, Airtel, and many more. Currently, he's the co-founder and director for CerboTeach Education Private Limited. He's a motivational speaker, he's a corporate trainer, and he's a visiting faculty in management institutions. He has trained 2,500 plus students and professionals across various educational institutes and corporates. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Last but not the least, Mr. Vikaas is the co-founder and director for Braininfinity. He is famously a mind trainer because of his inspiring and unique techniques of brain training. He has experience with a wide range of organizations like Development Credit Bank, Fortune India, and more. His core belief lies in the fact that an individual with a relaxed mind can lead a more action-oriented life. And in his last 8 years of journey as a mind trainer and a parenting coach, he has been able to impact more than 21,000 lives through his stress-free education and life workshops and more. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so just two rules for this webinar. The first, that we have no language. whatever you feel comfortable in, that is the language of the webinar. Second, the format of this webinar would be as follows. I would be asking questions to our guests in turn, but again, no rules. So whenever anybody wants to pitch in an answer, please feel free to do so. My first question would be to Mr. Arindam, which is as follows. Sir, being a principal, have you ever encountered a student who's been struggling with mental health in your school? And if you did, how did you address the same?
Oh yeah, of course this is the in topic in terms of post COVID season. Pre-COVID might have been not so much. I would have actually racked my brain a little to think about it. But post-COVID, there are many examples that I can give you. Not only me in high school, any schools in the country or in the entire globe, I suppose. See, there are many factors which I feel. This 2 years of online classes and 2 years of students not interacting with each other, students not being part of the global or the associated physical behavior. That aspect, because of all of that, maybe there are certain mental association which has made them feel that ways where they have locked themselves. Physically, of course, they were locked. It was also mentally as well as emotionally. That factor is there. And when they came back to school, it was not a very easy thing to accept. Look at the entire continuum of students that we have. We have right from pre-primary to 12th. So we have got 2.5, that is 3 years old to 18 years old. Each bracket has got its own challenge post-COVID, what we have observed. Like for example, in the lower classes, what's happening is, since they were always with their mothers, right, and the teacher and the students were only in the laptop, only in the screen, right. So their interaction with the teacher and the student was only, since it was in the screen, physically it was with mother. So there was a comfort zone which was created in the last 2 years, especially children who are in third standard, fourth standard, who are in standard one or maybe in pre-primary when they last came to school. So what happened is, when they came back to school, they couldn't accept the fact that there will be around 25 or 30 students around with them. Okay, they need to listen to the teacher. They have to follow certain rules and regulations that are there in the class. Earlier it was they can sit any which way. Whenever they wanted, they can get up and go for a glass of water or something like that. But now there are certain rules that they need to follow, as we call it as classroom. So that was from shifting from this phase to that phase is a big challenge for the students which we felt. Because of that, there was aggression. Because of that, there were a lot of behavioral issues, fighting, somewhere abusing each other. That aspect is there. Coming to the higher classes, I felt in the higher classes using not only online classes but the social media is also done for the students. Somewhere I feel that they have lost that that concentration, or as we said, that focused attention. Using too much of the social media, as we know, it's free and nothing comes free. So what we are paying ourselves is the attention. We are paying the attention as a part of our pay, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
the students have lost that span of attention because of this aspect and this factor. So for them, sitting for a 40 minutes class, like in a real time situation, was really, really challenging. And because of that, these aggressions were again, coming up or facing that was happening. So the other aspect which I found was the people skill. In these 2 years, since they were they were talking to each other maybe, but that was again in a virtual world. But when they came to physically to each other, accommodating oneself or being a part of a collaborative activity or being a part of the team was very difficult for a student to get into. Accepting others, or agree to disagree, these aspects, or if a teacher says getting aggressive, is all these factors which I feel these 2 years have done. And of course, they have also, in terms of their own studies, in terms of their academic, development, since the concentration aspects is the attention aspect has taken a beating, so that has also played a role. We tried to do we knew that there will be a major gap in terms of learning gap, in terms of students learning when they came back to school physically. So what did was we did a gap analysis program. So the suppose a student is in standard 8, so we took the standard 7's minimum level of requirement, the prerequisite of standard 8, that means that is of standard 7.
Standard
So the
7, yeah.
minimum level of learning of standard 7, we created a questionnaire for them.
Okay.
For each question was associated with a concept. So question number 1 was maybe a concept which was maybe from force. Question number 2 was maybe a concept from pressure, something like that, or maybe from algebra. So subject wise we did it separately. And the idea was to identify where things are going wrong for them, to identify the gap, and then have concept classes instead of normal classes. Instead of class 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll have these concepts. Like for example, for fraction. So we can have a class of fraction where maybe a student of third will also be coming, or fifth can also come, or seventh can identify it. We did that, and we had a 1 month program. That was April we did, and April, May we thought of having the entire thing. When we did the program and the data were collected, and when we were trying to analyze it, we found that 90% of the students have the gap, or maybe more than that. It was only that 4 or 5% of students who really made it, could actually take it up. But the rest of them, we found that that gap aspect was there. So our plan of having a concept class took a backseat, and we did a normal class with a remediation. So a standard 8 for 1 month, we taught only standard 7's concepts, so that they can be entire standard 8. So what I'm saying is, this has also taken a beating in terms of their own understanding. And of course, along with that, as I was mentioning earlier, along with that, the acceptance factor, the collaborative factor, then the concentration factor, all of that has also taken a beating. Because of this, students had to bring into the associated factor, and the biggest challenge was this mindfulness. This mindfulness was absolutely, absent, you can say, where we had to actually bring. So the collaborative aspect and the mindfulness, these are the two aspects we started working on. By God's grace, since we did it, very religiously and literally, in the entire timetable, every day, first half an hour, 40 minutes, we had this plan of mindfulness activity, and then we had a Saturday with a collaborative activity. Somehow, this 4 or 5 months have made a difference, but I still feel we have a long way to go. So this is the challenge post-COVID that I'm sure all the schools might have faced.
So how did you measure this, this improvement that you saw
Yes.
from this program? How did you measure it?
So we have a team of counselors who takes care of this aspect. So they started measuring the behavioral aspect of students in the month of April or May, what it was. Along with that, we thought of having a program. They have designed a program on mindfulness and on collaborative aspects, which we ran through for the next 3-4 months. And when we have come across where earlier it was around 70 to 80% of students who are having this problem, now it has come down to somewhere around 30 to 40%. So I feel, yes, of course, we need to still work on. I won't say that absolutely fine with the rest, 60, 70. They are also, but they are at least trying to work out on themselves, and they are above the, the danger level, as you can say. So that's one thing we had. And then, of course, academically, our remediation program worked a little well. Another challenge which I can tell you, again, is the problem with the focused attention. Our 10th standard and 12th standard classes, which are board classes, supposed to be board classes, for them the challenge is the most. We just had this midterm examination, and we had followed the same pattern of CBSE for 3 hours and writing a number of questions.
Yeah.
3 hours, it was very difficult forget about the other class students. It was very difficult for 10th and 12th standard students also to sit and write for those 3 hours. They were, when I was in round, I could see like some of them putting their head down. They wanted to go to the washroom. They were just not able to sit for the 3 hours and write that way.
Even though they have had this habit for so many years before COVID.
Those 2 years have...
For 12 students, they've had a good 8-9 years in the schooling in getting this, but the 2 years wiped it off.
Absolutely. No, another thing you see, the students who are in 10th standard, the last time they came to school was in 7th standard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the students who are in 12th standard, the last time they came was in 10th standard, and the 10th standard,
Entire session
they
wiped
did
out.
not they did not write the board exam because CBSE is done away with the board examination.
Yeah.
So the experience of writing a board examination for a 10th standard student, for a 12th standard student, which they could have done it in 10, which they could have had it in 10th standard, that never happened. So
Right.
keeping that in mind, that has played a very big role in damaging what the aspect is, what they are now at present. So this damage control is happening now. I hope like we are able to. I won't say it's been marvelously well, but yes, we have taken the system out of the danger level that much. It's especially our counseling team and the academic team. More or less things are fine, but yes, we are keeping our fingers crossed because we hardly, especially for our 10th and 12th standard students, we hardly have any time for their board exams. So what we are trying to do is to create that sort of an environment for this next 3 years. Like, the match practice is very important. So that's what we are trying to just create that similar sort of an environment and give them, multiple number of tests.
So
So
this will
that's one of the
be,
strategies.
yes, so this will be like a long-term thing in the school, not a one-time thing, but like a part of your curriculum from
Exactly.
now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because see, the thing is that none of us were prepared. None of us were prepared for the pandemic, and none of us were prepared for post-pandemic also.
Exactly.
We didn't. We were just guessing. What sort of experts we are doesn't matter, but none of us have seen this. I
Yeah.
think this pandemic was around 200 or 300 years previous that which has happened. Now we have faced it. So none of us knew what is going to happen post pandemic. We knew that it's going to be catastrophic. There is no doubt about it. But we didn't know exactly what's going to happen. So to be very honest, the plans that we had worked, we knew that we had to have this plan B, C, D, E, F because the plan A will not work absolutely. So
Mm-hmm.
that we were completely sure about it. So keeping that in mind, I feel since the flexibility has worked, and since we knew that we are just guessing and we are not able to predict, because I think guessing and predict has a lot of difference.
Yeah.
So we are not able to predict what's going to happen, but we guessed what we happened. So we were very close. I won't say very close to our guess, but yes, our guessing worked a little for us, or the groundwork was done. So more or less things are now better. But what we have seen is yes, the mindfulness aspect is definitely something is the key word which I feel we
Mm-hmm.
should work on for the students for the next another 3 4 years, because bringing them back to what they were pre-pandemic will take us another 4 5 years, that is for sure. The damage that it has done, because the aggressiveness of students, or I'm sorry to say there's so many from the depression point of view. Not only the depression point of view is going to the suicidal tendencies. Almost 45 to 50% of the students have developed this sort of tendency, which is very very dangerous for us. Uh, not only for a school but for the entire country as well. So I think we need to look at these aspects, and that's what we are working.
Mr. Arindam, one follow-up question. So maybe most of the schools are facing this problem. So this mindfulness program which you talked about, so you are dealing with all the classes or particular set of students?
Yeah, mindfulness program, we are doing it for all the classes, but the nature of the program is different.
Nature of the program, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah,
yes.
the nature of the program is different. So,
Wrong.
yes.
Thank you.
All right. And what role should a teacher, especially a class teacher, what role should she or he play in ensuring the good mental well-being of the students?
See, the thing is, again, we are all commonly fighting the same problem that we are having at present, right? So earlier it was, a few students which we used to look at, but now the number of students have increased. Like, so if you have 30 students out of 30, 24 or 25 will behave the same way. So that's what. And another thing, because of the frustration that's been developed inside, there's a lot of aggression in students. And students up north, the aggression is a little more than what we find in students down south. So
Yeah.
that's definitely there. So keeping that in mind, I feel so. There's what happens. I'll tell you, and of course, another important thing is the social media. So whatever fight they have in the Insta, that physical fight turns in the school. So you'll find them like maybe they are they're having a verbal spat in the or a typo spat in the Insta, and the same spat will turn into a a physical fight at school. So what I'm saying is that one aspect which we are working on. So counseling the students based on that is also very, and they have gone to a different level. Students are not able to understand the repercussion of the effect that they have of what they are doing. For whatever they do, there is an effect, right? Whatever they do, there will be a repercussion. So they do not know what the repercussion can be. So they're going to any extent in the social media thinking that everything is fine there, nothing can happen. But that's not what it is, right? So there are many cases, n number of cases that we have followed in these 3 months that we had in our school. And 90% of these cases are connected to social media. 90% of these cases. Whatever is happening in the school, all of that is associated there. And sadly, we are trying the entire thing along with the parents. Sadly, the parents are also not aware of what is happening, and some of them are beyond our imagination. Some of the situations that have been created by students, they are absolutely beyond their imagination. So that's one aspect. And the second thing, which again I'm reiterating the same point, is the program of mindfulness. That's what a class teacher or a subject teacher needs to do. Like for example, if I can just tell you, like students are coming back now after post Diwali, right? So if you just say that, how did you celebrate your Diwali? Now out of the 30, maybe some of them might have not gone anywhere, or some might have gone abroad or somewhere. So instead of that, can we use your 5 senses, and through your 5 senses, tell me what was your experience of your Diwali holiday? For example, what is it that you've heard? What good that you've heard? What good that you've seen in this holiday, during this holiday? Okay, what good that you tasted? So what I'm saying is, somewhere you are making them reflect, and that association of being critical association with thinking of that sort of thing will also make a lot of difference. So I feel these sort of mindful activities really make a difference in students, when I have a feeling that this reflective aspect plays a very important role, which we generally do not do. Right.
Right.
There is a difference between a telling classroom and a learning classroom, right? Where
Yeah.
in a learning classroom, where you're making the students to think about and reflect on this. So I think when this reflective practices increase, then the mindfulness will also, I feel, increase, and that's what is important for us to understand.
All right.
That's what my
All right, sir. Thank you, Mr. Vikaas, sir. I would like to begin with a very harsh truth. See, today 20% of teenagers are suffering from stress, from anxiety issues, from increasing jet speed. Why is this happening? What are the basic reasons behind this?
Thank you, Nikita, for asking this question. And let me share one more data with you. जो अभी अरिंदम सर बोल रहे थे, तो I do agree with all the facts which he is sharing. अगर मैं प्री कोविड की बात करूं तो 2015 का जो डेटा है नेशनल क्राइम रिपोर्ट ब्यूरो का, every year there are 20 students those are committing every day they are committing suicide. और पोस्ट कोविड क्या हो गया, 2020 का डेटा है नेशनल क्राइम रिपोर्ट ब्यूरो का, अगेन जो रिकॉर्ड में है, जो रिकॉर्ड की बात नहीं है उसकी तो बात ही नहीं हो रही है. ये 18 से 20 से इंक्रीज होकर 34 पे चला गया. तो ये बहुत बड़ा शिफ्ट हुआ है ऑन डाउनग्रेड साइड. मतलब हमारी सोसाइटी कहाँ जा रही है, वो हम बात इसकी कर रहे हैं, हम टीनेजर्स की बात कर रहे हैं. तो प्री कोविड और पोस्ट कोविड में जो मुझे बेसिकली फर्क लगता है, पहले भी एक चैलेंज था और आज भी वो चैलेंज मैं फेस करता हूँ जब भी कभी इस स्कूल को विजिट करते हैं या कॉलेज को विजिट करते हैं. जैसे मेरा भी बहुत एक इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज है जिसमें फार्मास्यूटिकल भी है और जिसमें MBA भी है, मैनेजमेंट स्टडीज भी है. तो उसके तीनों विंग का इंडक्शन प्रोग्राम में मुझे जाने का मौका मिला. मुझे वहाँ पर हमारा टॉपिक था 7 एक्टिविटीज टू बूस्ट योर ब्रेन एंड 5x योर प्रोडक्टिविटी. तो वहाँ पर जो शेयरिंग हुई, जो 3rd और 4th ईयर का जो स्टूडेंट है अभी, वो किसी भी तरह के असाइनमेंट को करके राजी नहीं है. मतलब दे आर नॉट लाइकिंग टू डू एनी टाइप ऑफ असाइनमेंट और दे आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन एनी टाइप ऑफ इंटर्नशिप. एंड दो वो कॉलेज टॉप के कॉलेज में से आता है जिसका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, जिसका क्वालिटी, जिसकी प्लेसमेंट सब कुछ बहुत शानदार है, उसके बावजूद दे आर फेसिंग बाय ये वो 2 साल वाले स्टूडेंट वो हैं जो जिन्होंने कोविड में फर्स्ट ईयर और सेकंड ईयर निकाल दिया. तो कोविड का तो खैर अपने मेंटल हेल्थ पे बहुत बड़ा फर्क पड़ा ही है. और जो हम बात कर रहे थे, अगर मैं प्री कोविड और पोस्ट कोविड की बात करूं, तो मेरा सिंपल सा सवाल है, जो भी हमें सुन रहे हैं, उन पेरेंट्स से भी और एज ए टीचर्स भी, फिर मुझे मेरा याद आता है जब मैं 11th क्लास में था तो आई गॉट डिस्ट्रैक्टेड। तो मेरे टीचर ने मुझे एक बार मुझे समझाने की कोशिश की कि क्या चल क्या रहा है। तो मैंने इतना बोला कि मेरा पढ़ाई में मन नहीं लगता, मैं ध्यान से पढ़ नहीं पाता। मेरा एक सिंपल सा स्टेटमेंट था। और मेरे फादर बैंकर रहे हैं, तो उनको भी मैंने बताया था ऐसी दिक्कत। जब उन्होंने देखा कि कुछ प्रॉब्लम चल रही है तो उनका क्या स्टेटमेंट था वो आप सुनना। उनका स्टेटमेंट दोनों का कॉमन था, ध्यान से पढ़ो, मन लगा के पढ़ो। तो मैंने कहा मैं भी तो ये पूछ रहा हूँ कि कैसे पढ़ूं, सवाल ये है कैसे पढ़ें। आई नो द थिंग इज, हम सबको पता है कि हमारी रीडिंग स्पीड अच्छी होनी चाहिए, राइटिंग अच्छी होनी, सबको पता है, करनी कैसे है। फिर फिर क्या होता है कि बहुत सारे ऐसे चीजें आ जाती हैं, जैसे आई वाज इन वन स्कूल। तो स्कूल में क्या हुआ, ऐसी बात चल रही थी, उनको पता लगा कि हम रीडिंग और राइटिंग पे बात करने वाले हैं, तो स्टूडेंट हंसने लगे। मैंने क्या हुआ कि सर हमें समझ में नहीं आता कि कई बार इस तरह की वर्कशॉप्स होती हैं जो प्रैक्टिकली पॉसिबल नहीं है। मुझे बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग ये लगा कि स्टूडेंट ने ये क्वेश्चन पूछा है तो कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग है। आई सैट डाउन एंड पूछा भाई चलो हम बात करते हैं, मुझे बता क्या क्या कहना चाह रहा है। कहते मैं सुबह 8 बजे स्कूल आता हूँ, ठीक है, और वापस 2:30 2 o'clock 3 o'clock तक मैं घर पहुंचा। वेरी करता है सिटी टू सिटी, एग्रीड, ठीक है। और 4:30 और 5 PM पर मैं कोचिंग क्लास चला जाता हूँ। नॉर्मली 7th क्लास ऑनवर्ड्स तो ये रूल है ही, चल ही रहा है। हम मास की बात कर रहे हैं। तो अब वापस सर मैं आता हूँ रात को 7:30 8 बजे। मुझे स्कूल का होमवर्क करना है, मुझे अपना कोचिंग क्लास का करना है, ऑब्वियसली खाना भी खाना होगा, कहीं ना कहीं 10 मिनट का मुझे अपना ब्रेक भी चाहिए होगा। और आप मुझसे ये बात करने आए हैं कि तुम रीडिंग राइटिंग स्पीड बढ़ा लो। कहां से बढ़ा लो, फिजिकली कहां अवेलेबल हूँ बॉस, मेंटल तो बात की बात है। तो ये इतना बड़ा गैप है जिसको मुझे लगता है कि बीइंग ए टीचर, बीइंग अ पेरेंट और बीइंग ए स्कूल, तो देखो 3 लोगों के पास ही काम था। 3 पिलर्स हैं। पेरेंट्स को मैं साइड में रख रहा हूँ क्योंकि वो थोड़ा सा अपना रोल भूल गए हैं, लेकिन फिर भी 3 लोगों के पास ही क्लियर काम है ना। तो एक हमारे टीचर के पास है और एक हमारे स्कूल के पास है। तो हाँ, तो अगर पेरेंट इसमें इन्वॉल्व है तो उन तीनों का काम एक था चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट, और वो तीनों अपने आप में कहीं बिजी हैं या कहीं और थॉट प्रोसेस चल रहा है। तो वो जो एक्चुअल प्रॉब्लम है स्टूडेंट था वो उसको एड्रेस नहीं हुआ। अब एक्चुअल प्रॉब्लम है क्या, जो मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग करती है, जो 21,000 स्टूडेंट्स को हमने अभी तक ट्रेन किया है, तो जो हमारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग कहती है कि अगर मैं एक क्लास में एक ऑन एवरेज मान लीजिए कि एक 100 स्टूडेंट्स है क्लास के अंदर, उसमें से अगर कोई भी किसी भी स्कूल का रेशो उठा ले, अगर मैं गलत हूं तो प्लीज मुझे आप करेक्ट कीजिएगा, 3 से लेके 5% स्टूडेंट होता है जो दोज आर एक्सीलेंट, बहुत बढ़िया होते हैं वो। राइट। अप्रॉक्स 14 से 18% स्टूडेंट वो हैं जो बिलो एवरेज है। इंटरेस्टिंगली इन दोनों को कोई लेना देना नहीं है टीचर से, स्कूल से। बिलो एवरेज वाला पहले सोच के बैठा भाई अपने को कोई क्या बोल रहे टीचर, हमें क्या मतलब। और जो एक्सीलेंट है वो कहता है कि मैं मेरा कर लूंगा भाई, मुझे पता है, मैं ही बता दूंगा। रह कौन गया, और स्कूल की इमेज किससे बनती है या इमेज किससे डाउन होती है? कौन सा पेरेंट है जो सबसे ज्यादा क्रिप करता है? वो है एवरेज, वो है 72% अप्रॉक्स 72% के आसपास है। अब उसका बेसिक प्रॉब्लम क्या है? बेसिक प्रॉब्लम है दो स्टूडेंट्स आर नॉट गुड इन एकेडमिक्स, बुरे नहीं है अच्छे भी नहीं है। दो स्टूडेंट्स आर नॉट गुड इन स्पोर्ट्स, नॉट गुड इन म्यूजिक। वो किसी में भी अच्छे नहीं, किसी में भी बुरे नहीं है। वो हम जैसे एक आम व्यक्तियों में से जो ये पूछते हैं कैसे करें, क्या होगा क्या। अब किसी में अच्छे नहीं है तो क्या होगा? मोस्टली जो होता है, जैसे हमने पंजाब में काम किया तो पंजाब में हमें ये चीज बहुत नजदीक से देखने को मिली मुझे, क्योंकि वो अटेंशन नहीं मिल रही बिकॉज बीइंग एवरेज स्टूडेंट। तो होगा क्या, मैं अपने बिलो एवरेज से फ्रेंडशिप करूंगा ताकि मैं उससे अप रहूं। अब उससे अप रहने के चक्कर में मेरा पूरा का पूरा ग्रेड डाउन हो गया, पूरा का पूरा लर्निंग कैपेबिलिटी डाउन हो गया। एंड मोर इंटरेस्टिंगली इसका रीजन क्या था मालूम है? उसका रीजन था पीयर प्रेशर। पीयर प्रेशर भी कैसा? उसकी जो उसके साथ एक्सलेंट स्टूडेंट बैठा है ना, उसकी रीडिंग स्पीड इतनी ज्यादा थी कि उसने चैप्टर 60 मिनट्स का 60 मिनट्स में खत्म कर लिया। और वही जो एवरेज था वो बेचारा वही सेम चैप्टर को 3 से 4 घंटे में कर नहीं पा रहा। और पीछे से एक डायलॉग आ रहा है, तेरे दोस्त ने कर लिया, तेरे भाई ने कर लिया, तेरे साथ वाले बच्चे ने कर लिया। एक टीचर या एक पेरेंट कहीं ना कहीं एक उसको शायद मोटिवेट करने के लिए कह रहे होंगे लेकिन वो मोटिवेट होने की बजाय क्या होगा, डीमोटिवेट हो गया। वैसे राइटिंग स्पीड, अब आप कैसे, आप जैसे सभी बता रहे थे, अरिंदर सर भी, कि आज कोई भी बच्चा 3 आवर्स के लिए लिखना नहीं चाह रहा। आई डू एग्री, और ये प्रॉब्लम उसके साथ भी ज्यादा हुई है जिसको ये पावर राइटिंग का मिला ही नहीं है। और राइटिंग का स्पीड मिला नहीं, अब वो लिखे कैसे, और पेपर लिख के पास होगा, नंबर तो लिखने पे मिलेंगे। तो मेरी बेसिक पे तो बात ही नहीं की। तो मेरे से अगर बड़ी बड़ी बातें कर लोगे तो मुझे मेरा बेसिक फूड ही नहीं दिया, तो व्हाट डू आई डू? सेम थिंग विद कंसंट्रेशन पावर, अटेंशन स्पैन, प्री कोविड। अच्छा, दूसरा लॉजिकली आप सोचने की कोशिश भी कीजिए, कोविड के अंदर सारी क्लासेस ऑनलाइन चली, सारा का सारा यूथ, इवन अस आल्सो, हम सब कहां चले गए, सोशल मीडिया पे। अगर मैं साइंटिफिकली बात करूं, वी आर वाचिंग दिस मोबाइल और लैपटॉप और एनी स्क्रीन मोर देन 4 lakhs a color, and we are expecting a student to read a 4-color book or 16-color book. How does it's possible? Scientifically possible नहीं। जब पॉसिबल नहीं है तो आप ऐसे एक्सपेक्टेशन रखते क्यों? तो आपको, अच्छा अगर और इसके डीप पे चले जाए तो भैया डोपामाइन तो तब उसका ट्रिगर हो गया, ऑलरेडी वो ट्रिगर हो चुका है, डिस्चार्ज हो चुका है, जो उसको हैप्पीनेस मिली थी पढ़ने से या वॉच करने से या कुछ। तो अब आप उसको बोल रहे हो कि स्लो प्रोसेस करो, हाई रिफ्लेक्सेस से स्लो प्रोसेस पे आ जाओ, स्लो रिफ्लेक्सेस पे आ जाओ और वो करो, तो पॉसिबल नहीं है। तो पहले हमें मेंटल इस ब्रेन पे काम करना पड़ेगा। जब तक इसकी कैपेसिटी नहीं बढ़ेगी तब तक टीचर कुछ मर्जी बोल के, पेरेंट्स कुछ मर्जी बोले, इसमें कुछ नहीं जाने वाला। ये कुछ मतलब मेरे मुझे एग्जांपल बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग लगता है कई बार कि जैसे मेरे पास टाटा की गाड़ी है, तो एक बार मैं गुलशन सर से मिलने गया, तो हम मंडी हाउस में बैठे थे, तो सर ने मुझे होंडा सिटी की चाबी दी, मेरी चाबी नहीं मिल रही थी। अब मैं जिद कर रहा हूँ, सर मेरी आपकी चाबी से मेरी गाड़ी खुल जाएगी। अरे भाई कैसे खुल जाएगी, वो गाड़ी अलग है, ये गाड़ी अलग है। नहीं, चाबी तो चाबी होती है, तो लेक्चर होता है, तो हर किसी का ब्रेन तो अलग है ना, यहाँ वाला लॉक कैसे खुलेगा, उसको अपन अनलॉक तो करें। तो इसमें रोल आज के टाइम पर मुझे लगता है टीचर्स का सबसे बड़ा रोल है। पेरेंट्स शायद अनअवेयर है या आई डोंट नो उनका क्या मोटिव है, लेकिन टीचर एक ऐसा है, क्योंकि लास्ट में प्रिंसिपल उनसे पूछने वाला है सिलेबस हो गया क्या, लास्ट में मैनेजमेंट उनसे पूछने वाला है सिलेबस हो गया क्या, पेरेंट्स उनसे पूछने वाला है कि मेरे बच्चे का ध्यान रखा क्या, रिजल्ट आने के बाद ये पूछा जाएगा कि आपने क्या करवाया था जो रिजल्ट अच्छा आया या नहीं आया। अल्टीमेटली पूरा प्रेशर किस पे है, टीचर पे। तो वो ही एक है। हाँ, तो वो अगर प्रॉपरली क्लास को अटेंड कराते वक्त, जैसे 40 मिनट्स का एक पीरियड होता है, जो मेरी नॉलेज है वो ये कहती है कि 7 से 11 मिनट लगते हैं एक क्लास को सेटल डाउन करने में, डिपेंड करता है किस सब्जेक्ट में, और लगभग 17 से 18 मिनट 7 to 18 मिनट्स मिलते हैं पढ़ाने के लिए। बाकी कुछ बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज में चले जाते हैं जो उस क्लास के उस नॉर्म, हर स्कूल के अपने अपने नॉर्म्स हैं। तो 17 मिनट तो पढ़ाया हमने 40 मिनट्स में, और उसमें से मेरा पर्सनल कनेक्शन तो बना ही नहीं आपसे, क्योंकि आप अपने लेक्चर देके चले गए। व्हाट वी आर सेइंग, जो हमने फील भी किया है, अगर फर्स्ट 2 मिनट्स के अंदर उसको वहीं पर फोकस की एक्टिविटी, लर्निंग की कैपेसिटी, रीडिंग और राइटिंग की ट्रेनिंग दे दी जाए वही 2 मिनट्स के अंदर, कोई एक्स्ट्रा टाइम नहीं चाहिए, कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं इसमें करने के लिए। वहां पर उसकी कैपेसिटी बढ़ गई, अब टीचर ने 15 मिनट पढ़ाया तो उसका 15 मिनट्स इज इक्वल टू 15 मिनट्स है। अदरवाइज पहले क्या था, अगर वो 20 मिनट्स पढ़ा रहा था 15 मिनट, तो वो वेरी कर रहा था, हो सकता है किसी को 100% समझ में आया, किसी को 40, किसी को 60, किसी को 70। अब वो वेरी नहीं कर रहा, अब वो ये है कि ऑन एन एवरेज 75% से ऊपर सबको समझ में आ रहा है। फिर टाइम बचा, अब वो पर्सनल बॉन्ड बनाए। जब पर्सनल बॉन्ड बन जाता है तो इट्स अ जर्नी फ्रॉम टीचर टू गुरु, टीचर टू गुरु। तो ये अगर तभी पॉसिबल हो पाएगा जब टीचर को ये पता हो ये एक्टिविटी क्यों करानी है। तो मुझे लगता है कि टीचर को अगर ट्रेन कर दिया जाए तो ये प्रॉब्लम हमारी खत्म हो सकती है, एंड आई एम श्योर ये खत्म हो सकती है। यहाँ पे मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि कोशिश होगी, कोशिश नहीं, आई एम डैम श्योर।
Okay, alright. Well, that's a very encouraging thought on a topic that's not so encouraging. On a related but a tangential aspect, it's not just students that are suffering. We also see students who have graduated. They are also, suffering. For example, in 2016, there was a report by ASSOCHAM that said that 93% of our graduates, they are either unemployed or underemployed. right? That number would have, statistically only gone up by now. So why, after studying so much and doing so much, if this is the unemployment and underemployment rate, why would a student put himself or herself through this, and how can they get out of this cycle? Like, do we have some resources, a roadmap, a person, a reference, how to make that right decision that we do not fall into this, after doing so much study, so much hard work, we get that result, we get that employment, how to do that?
क्या हुआ, अभी कुछ टाइम पहले ना मैंने परेश सर को फोन किया, और परेश सर को मैं पिछले काफी टाइम से जानता हूँ। परेश सर संडे को बात करेंगे, और संडे को हमारी इंपॉर्टेंट मीटिंग है। परेश सर कहते ओके, और मैं संडे को बोला मैं वेट करता था, परेश सर ने मुझसे बात ही नहीं करी। मैंने अगले दिन कॉल किया, मैंने कहा सर आपने बात नहीं करी मुझसे। वो कहते हैं बात कैसे करता है ना, आपने मुझे कौन सा संडे ये बताया, कहाँ बात करेंगे, जूम पे करेंगे, गूगल मीट पे करेंगे, और कितने बजे करेंगे, आपने तो कोई बात ही नहीं बताई मेरे को, तो कैसे आपसे मीटिंग हो जाती। तब मुझे समझ में आया, इनकम्प्लीट इंफॉर्मेशन जब होती है ना, तो आपके डिसीजन गलत होंगे ही होंगे, और आपका टाइम वेस्ट होगा ही होगा, और आपकी एनर्जी वेस्ट होगी होगी। तो सेम विद ourselves, सेम विद स्टूडेंट आल्सो। उसको स्टूडेंट को अपनी स्ट्रेंथ ही नहीं पता। और आज जैसे पहले क्या होता था, पहले सिंपल सा रूल था, ये मार्क्स आएंगे तो ये सब्जेक्ट मिलेगा। अब उसके बाद फिर एक नया तरह का पेरेंट आया, एक बड़ा एक शगुफा सा छोड़ा गया मोटिवेशन स्पीकर के द्वारा कि बच्चे की आपने इच्छाएं मार दी हैं, तो आप क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो? 16 साल के बच्चे को पता होगा उसकी क्या स्ट्रेंथ है, क्या वीकनेस है? उसको रोड मैप चाहिए था बॉस। हमें अगर एक घर बनाना होता है ना, तो हम आर्किटेक्ट के पास जाते हैं, उसको 50,000 लाख रुपए दे के आते हैं कि हमें एक 3D मैप दे दो बॉस, हम ताकि बनाएगा तो आपका कौन सा, वो एक लेमैन, एक आपका मिस्त्री बनाने वाला है, लेकिन आप हमें रोड मैप दे दो। While selecting a career of a student, of your child, do you have any road map? No. और फिर वहां पे हम चाचा ताया मामा किसी से पूछ लेंगे, जो कोई डॉक्टर होगा, कोई इंजीनियर होगा, बता दो यार क्या अच्छा है, कौन सा प्रोफेशन अच्छा है। प्रोफेशन कौन सा बुरा है? कोई प्रोफेशन बुरा नहीं है। तो आपकी पोटेंशियल को बिना जाने, आपने अपनी स्ट्रेंथ नहीं चेक की, अपने वीकनेस नहीं चेक की, आपने कुछ अपना स्वॉट एनालिसिस प्रॉपर नहीं किया, और वो भी बिना रोड मैप पे जब आप डिसीजन लोगे, तो 93% स्टूडेंट्स आर सफरिंग फ्रॉम दीज प्रॉब्लम्स ओनली। बाय मतलब वो करेंगे इंजीनियरिंग, बाद में बैंकिंग का पेपर देंगे, करेंगे डॉक्टर, उसके बाद पता लगेगा वो किसी और प्रोफेशन में चले गए। तो हाँ, एक और है, वी आर वेरी पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट, वी आर हैविंग हाँ हमारी स्टडी कहीं ना कहीं काम आएगी। अरे भैया 15, 20, 25 लाख रुपए खर्च करके अगर तुमने वही काम करा तो पहले कर लेते, तो 25 लाख रुपए अपने बिजनेस में लगाते, राइट? Like Paresh is also having a very vast experience in job. Gulshan sir also, me and also having a very vast experience in banking. तो पहले क्यों नहीं करनी? कॉमर्स करके सीधा बैंकिंग में चले जाते। अच्छा, एजुकेशन नहीं करनी थी तो पहले से नहीं क्यों नहीं करनी? It's a journey. I do agree. क्या उस जर्नी के लिए हमें डेस्टिनेशन नहीं पता होना चाहिए कि कहाँ जाना है? वो डेस्टिनेशन के लिए हमें पता होना चाहिए कि मेरे में क्या कैपेसिटी है। तो वहां पर मुझे लगता है कि जो स्कूल और जो पेरेंट है ना, वो थोड़ा सा इस पे फोकस ज्यादा दें कि रोड मैप के लिए एम्फसाइज करें, सोचें कि रोड मैप कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है। 10th जैसा सब्जेक्ट जब चूज करते हो, सबसे वियर्ड तरीके से हम पिक करते हैं, बिना कुछ सोचे समझे पिक करते हैं। तो वहां पर बहुत सारे टूल्स हैं, एक टूल हम भी यूज करते हैं, ब्रेन मैपिंग टेस्ट करते हैं, बहुत सारे टूल्स हैं। तो वो टूल के बिना अगर आपको एक डिसीजन ले रहे हो ना, तो ये उसी तरह है कि आपको शेयर मार्केट का नॉलेज नहीं है, आप चले गए पैसा लेके, तुक्का लग गया ना तो आपको मिल गया, नहीं मिला तो अगर आपको नॉलेज नहीं है तो डोंट ट्राई। इफ यू वांट टू सेव योर एनर्जी, मनी एंड योर लाइफ, यू शुड टेक अ रोड मैप, मस्ट टेक।
But doesn't that roadmap change? Can't it change?
Yes.
Like, can't my interest change? I might want to do banking for 5 years and then I, get that saturation level. Before I was interested. Now I'm probably interested in something else. So can't we, have that flexibility to change our, roadmap along the way?
That's absolutely true कि ये रोडमैप क्या है? एक रेफरेंस के लिए, जैसे आपने एक आर्किटेक्ट अपने नक्शा बनवाया अपने उसका हाउस का, अब आप उसको बना रहे हो, बनाने के बाद आपको लग रहा है कि मैं 10 साल इसी सेम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर से रह चुका हूँ, उसको चेंज होना चाहिए, कुछ आप चेंज करो। लेकिन जब आप उस अकॉर्डिंग चलते हो तो क्या होता है कि आपका, अगर आर्किटेक्ट और नॉन आर्किटेक्ट का कभी आप देखेंगे तो आपको बहुत सारी चीजें मिलेंगी, आपका मनी बचता है, अगर ओवरऑल बजट देखेंगे तो पैसा बचता है, टाइम बचता है, एफर्ट्स बचते हैं। सेम विद दिस कि आपको ये क्लैरिटी होना चाहिए कि मैं दिल्ली से बॉम्बे जा रहा हूँ, दिल्ली से पुणे जा रहा हूँ कि बॉम्बे जा रहा हूँ, एटलीस्ट आप उस पाथवे पे हो। अभी क्या हो रहा है, अगर आप इंजीनियरिंग करके अगर बैंक के क्लर्क का पेपर देना था तो व्हाई यू आर वेस्टिंग योर हार्ड एंड मनी बॉस, क्यों, है ना। अगर अच्छा और इंटरेस्टिंग है, जैसे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट बनना है किसी को, तो चार्टर्ड, अच्छा इंडिया में क्या है, बहुत बड़ा अच्छा कल्चर है हमारे यहाँ पे, स्टूडेंट इतना हार्ड वर्कर है तो पास तो हो ही जाता है, एनी सब्जेक्ट एनी स्ट्रीम। आई वांट टू बी अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, तो मैं अपना पूरी मेहनत करके चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट में ठान लिया तो कर तो लूंगा, चाहे वो एमबीबीएस करनी है डॉक्टरी करनी है। चैलेंज कब शुरू होगा, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी के लिए मेरा बेसिक ट्रेड क्या है, मुझे ऑडिट करना है, तो ऑडिट कम्स फ्रॉम दिस एरिया, दिस लेफ्ट फ्रंटल लोब, सॉरी ऑक्सीपिटल लोब। तो मेरे पास अगर वो मिला ही नहीं है, मुझे मेरे ब्रेन की स्ट्रेंथ ही नहीं है, तो मैं उसको करने के बाद उसको प्रोफाइल को एंजॉय नहीं कर रहा हूँ, ना पैसा कमा रहा हूँ ना एंजॉय कर रहा हूँ। अब मैं अगर अब अपने पेरेंट्स को बोलूं कि मुझसे नहीं हो पा रहा है काम, तो क्या होगा, वो हम सबको पता है क्या होने वाला है ना। ऐसे डॉक्टरी करने के बाद बहुत सारे, अब आप एसबीआई का नाम अगर सुना हो, स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया का, उसका अगर आप पोर्ट्रेशन रेट देखेंगे तो कितना हायर लेवल है भाई। अब स्टूडेंट, क्यों, क्योंकि स्टूडेंट, अच्छा वो बॉन्ड साइन करवा रहे हैं आपसे 1.5 लाख का, इवन आप किसी और जॉब में भी चले जाते तो भी आपको पैसा देके जाना पड़ेगा बिफोर टू इट, और वो भी रेशियो 18% से ऊपर है। क्यों, क्योंकि वो वाला प्रोफाइल समझने में गलती हो रही है या वो स्ट्रेस मैनेज नहीं हो रहा। व्हाट डज स्ट्रेस मींस, स्ट्रेस मींस व्हेन आई डोंट नो माय पोटेंशियल, आई एम डूइंग द एल्स वर्क दैट इज नॉट बिलोंग्स टू माय स्ट्रेंथ एरिया, ऑब्वियसली मुझे वो स्ट्रेंथ, मुझे वो स्ट्रेस आएगा ही आएगा उससे। तो स्ट्रेस का बहुत बेसिक सा फंडा है, आप वही करो जो आपकी पोटेंशियल एरिया है, लेकिन उसके लिए रोड मैप चाहिए।
Let me add few more points over here. Okay, विकास सर ने बहुत सही सारी जो बातें कही हैं, and निकिता you absolutely asked the right question. See, after graduation or after post graduation, you have all authority to change your profession or look beyond your profession capabilities. But right now, what we are discussing the challenges with the school students. When the student is in 9th standard or 10th or 11th and 12th, they tend to explore the other options, and most of the students are not able to explore the options. They go with the trend. Recently, whenever I conduct some of the seminars with the schools, it's been almost like 10 years now since I'm associated with the schools and conduct some of the career guidance programs. So when I share one figure with them, like for an example, last year how many students gave the NEET examination? Just roughly, any rough idea, anyone? Last year how many students gave the NEET examination?
I think 10 lakhs.
Approximately 18.5 lakh students gave the NEET examination. And how many seats were there? This will blow your mind. Let me seriously, like for an example, as an engineer, I think
30,000 है ना?
As an engineer, I want to go to IIT, right? So as a medical professional, I want to go to AIMS. There are only approximately 7 to 10 AIMS out there, and in AIMS only 700 seats are there. And in government and semi-government institutions, approximately 30 to 40,000 seats are there. What about the rest of those? That is why, and ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता ना कि सारे students incapable हों. Recently in Kota, there is a very famous institute, Allen, right? You all are aware about it. And in their classroom coaching, this year 1.25 lakh students took the examination. So 1.25 lakh students took the admission, and they are preparing for this exam. And out of those, we are sure how many seats are there. So are we creating that roadmap for them? Though they can boast about it, we can boast about anything, that we have this online presence, we have this offline presence. In total, we have 2 lakh students. But what about the rest of the 1.5 lakh students? Are we having a roadmap for those? No. Schools, they are studying in the dummy schools. See, challenges are everywhere with the schools. With a school like GD Goenka, I'm sure they have all the resources. But the point which Mr. Vikaas have noted down, or Mr. Vikaas have shared, this is talking about majority of the schools. They don't even have the resources. Some of the schools, they don't understand the mindfulness. Believe me,
Agreed,
They
agree,
are
agree.
still focusing on the other aspect. They are not even talking about these challenges. So when they talk about this aggression, वो फिर कुछ और ही बातें करते हैं.
Right, I worked in Rajasthan. मैंने बहुत काम किया है. In Rajasthan, 44,700 private schools are there. और अगर कैलकुलेशन सही है तो जिसका फीस स्ट्रक्चर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की मैं बात कर लूं जिनका अच्छा है, those schools are more than 2,500 होंगे. 2,500 के 3,000 के आसपास स्कूल है. बाकी स्कूल्स ऐसे बहुत सारे हैं जिनको जिनको अपने तरह के चैलेंज है कि वो को रन कैसे करना है. तो वो थॉट प्रोसेस पर तो बात ही नहीं हो रही है कि इसको एकेडमिकली कैसे सुपीरियर बनाना है. वहां तो अपने तरह का एक अलग इशू है. तो वहां तो उस तरफ उस लेवल पे सोचा ही नहीं जा रहा है. तो ये 2,500-3,000 जो स्कूल है ना, जो कुछ बेंचमार्क सेट कर रहे हैं या कुछ क्वालिटी एजुकेशन की बात कर रहे हैं या जिनके पास थॉट प्रोसेस है, तो मास की बात तो अलग ही लेवल पे चल रही है. वो
So
तो
the
वहां
onus lies on
उस
our
लेवल पे
shoulder, I
नहीं है.
believe. The onus lies on the schools like GD going to share the views more
Yes.
often,
Right.
I believe, with the teachers as well as with the other stakeholders, so that the people can learn and implement in their in their schools and their classes. Yeah, Nikita, please
Right.
go on.
Yeah, so you were saying something?
No,
Vikas sir?
please go on.
No, Vikas sir is saying
नहीं
something.
नहीं नहीं.
All right.
नहीं, I'm just saying कि जो अभी अरिंदम सर ने शेयर किया था कि इन्होंने कुछ उसका थोड़ा सा ऑब्जर्व करके कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स तो किए. इतना अवेयरनेस तो रखा कि मुझे हमें करना है, तो करेंगे तो ऑब्वियसली रिजल्ट भी निकलेंगे. लेकिन बहुत जगह जाना होता है सबका, ऑब्वियसली हम सभी जाते हैं अलग अलग स्कूल में. ऐसे बहुत सारे जिनको अभी तक पता ही नहीं कि हो क्या रहा है ना. और अगर मैं गलत नहीं हूं तो हम सब ने एक्सपीरियंस किया होगा, ऐसे बहुत सारे स्कूल है जिनको एनईपी का सिर्फ पूरा फुल फॉर्म भी नहीं पता. स्कूल्स की बात कर रहा हूं मैं, टीचर्स की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं. तो अवेयरनेस का लेवल ऑब्वियसली फर्क है, नो डाउट.
Right. We need trainings at all levels and at
Exactly.
all spheres. Right.
Yes.
Turning to Mr. Paresh, sir, what are the mental health challenges which are faced by school-going children today, and how are these things addressed?
See, Nikita, basically, there are a lot of surveys going around. Then NCRT decided to do a survey on their own. They created a questionnaire, self-reporting questionnaire for children, and these children were from class 6 to 12, and they did a complete survey, and it came from the horse's mouth in terms of what are the challenges that they're facing across. So some of the very specific challenges that the children have spoken about is basically they're talking about there's a lot of pressure of studies and which is taking a toll on their mental health. The pressure of studies is enormous. And as Vikas ji was rightly saying, कहीं ना कहीं एक 5 से 10% बच्चे होते हैं जो above average होते हैं और जो 18 से 20% बच्चे होते हैं कि जो somewhere they are around they are below average. Now there are these rest 70% students are very concerned and their parents are very concerned about the entire study. And while these kids are neither here nor there, and they are facing a lot of peer pressure in terms of I need to do better, and this pressure is taking a lot of toll on their mental health. So this is somewhere impacting their concentration level. It's impacting their focus. It's impacting their mental wellness, and the gadget addiction has gone up. Now, because of gadget addiction has gone up, this has impacted their sleeping patterns, and it has gone into a vicious cycle. If the sleep pattern is not good, somewhere again next day morning you're not waking up afresh, and then this entire trend continues. And now, with as Arindam was rightly saying, with now kids have been forced to go to the school, things have started changing for them. It's all about going and sitting there for about 6 to 8 hours. And sitting there for 6 to 8 hours is going to be is a little difficult after 2 years of sitting in home and studying across. So these all things put in, there's a lot of pressure which is built up across, and this pressure needs to be addressed across. First of all, everybody has to accept that there are mental health challenges which are there, because mental health at this point of time is a taboo. पर हम सबको लगता है कि mental health मतलब पागल है. But that's a big taboo, and somewhere this taboo has to go off, because that's what it's when you look at surveys, it's very scary. 47% people think that कि mental health people मतलब पागल है, and they need to be kept away from the society. They need to self improve. They need to self discipline. Self discipline कहाँ से आएगा? The person requires help.
Yeah.
And the situation is so bad that we have got about 2 psychologist or a psychiatrist for every 1 lakh people. That's the situation that is there across. Some of the government is taking a lot of steps in this case. So government is starting some concepts called as telemanas. Telemanas is a concept where they're trying to build up about 23 centers across India.
Yeah.
So a lot of other concepts are coming. Maybe we'll talk about it some other time. So these all steps are being taken across. At the same time, Arindamji is on the right track. That's what NCRT also is basically suggesting across. What they are saying is, mental health, for addressing this entire issue, there has to be a mental health council in every school, which has to be a set of parents, teachers, principals, alumni, and children. So there has to be a combination of all this, and there has to be these councils have been formed across in every school. And this council will basically decide in terms of what, and they keep on addressing and looking at all these issues, and they can keep on doing multiple things this way. Along with that, there is the parents needs to get involved into the studies and mental wellness, because parents, बहुत सही कहा उन्होंने, विकास जी ने, कि हमारे टाइम पे यार और ध्यान आगे पढ़ मतलब कैसे पढ़ेगा, the kid is not able to focus beyond the point. The kid is not able to focus beyond the point. How can you expect, ध्यान लगे के पढ़, और कितना ध्यान? सबसे
Right.
पहले we need to know कि what is the concentration level. So that's an area which I'll come to a little later. So somewhere we'll have to first look at, involve the parents, make the parents aware about there are some mental health, the mental health of every child needs to be protected, because every parent wants their children to go to either an IIT or to AIMS
Right.
or also IIM, and they put, they want to, ensure that whatever dreams that they could not build in or they could not fulfill, they want the children to fulfill their dreams. And parents, मैं IIT नहीं जा पाया तो मेरा बच्चा IIT जाएगा.
Right.
That's not a right way of doing it. The child might not want to go to an IIT. The child might want to be a psychologist or a footballer. So let's respect the child's choice also. And somewhere this is something which is still not there, and that basically puts an additional pressure on the child. And the parents needs to first brought in line and be told, look, let's look at what the child wants to look at. And lot of people, and there are a lot of people into this field of career, career choices, and there are a lot of methodologies in identifying the child's career choices to various steps and all. So those are things that are happening across. In addition to this, there has to be, there has to be a lot of awareness program for children also. The school needs to conduct, mental awareness program for children, wherein, they should talk about it, they should call some experts, and the experts should talk to the children in terms of, this is what is all about, mental wellness and all. So those all awareness, the children also need to be fed about it, so that the stress level, if the child is feeling that stress level can go on for the child also. So those all things needs to be implemented in the schools, and at the same time, teachers should be probably, taught across or educated about in terms of identifying children, where children are facing certain mental challenges. I'll give a very example. My daughter herself had faced this problem, wherein she was getting bullied and all in a certain, I had not been to school, in a certain school, and somewhere, when we went back to this, somewhere the teacher is not aware that, she's undergoing such a lot of stress and all, and she was not able to go to the school, so she had lot of stress around. So this thing, had the teacher could have identified it and supported, then the problem could not have got to the severe level what it should have not got to. So these all things the teacher needs to be taught in terms of, to try and identify certain challenges as far as the child is concerned. It could be related to concentration, could be related to stress, could be related to self-confidence, or certain these patterns. These all things can be done across, in terms of school. At the same time, regular measurements, regular programs needs to be done across school.
Okay. All right. That's a very fine suggestion. My next question to you is, what role is your company playing in improving the mental health situation for school students and just students or teenagers in general?
Okay. So basically, let's first identify in terms of, is there any methodology? Let's talk about fever. How do we identify fever? We use thermometers. We identify, BPs using BP machines and all. But the moment we talk about concentration, the moment we talk about memory, we talk about stress levels, we talk about problem-solving skills, there are no methodologies or there is no science basically which is there to identify. That's what was the concern which was there. So we started getting into this particular area, and we started using the brain-computer interface technology, or we call it the BCI technology to be precise. This BCI technology that we use across, we are using this BCI technology to acquire the brainwaves of children, while they do certain activities, and generate a report. So we already, through all the schools, what we've done is we have tied up with schools, multiple schools in Rajasthan, in Maharashtra, and in Gujarat. So in these schools, what we're doing is we first identify, we use, we use certain methodologies and acquire the brainwaves of a child using the BCI technology and get a generate a report. And this report that we generate across is a complete detailed report talking about concentration, memory, problem solving skills, stress level, anxiety level, depression level. So all this is a report created. And just by telling a parent or a school about what is the levels of these skills is not going to help across. There has to be
Right.
solutions that are provided across. Now we have built
Right.
up certain solutions which use various fun-loving activities, fun-filled activities like brain training games, binaural beats, musics, and all. And these all online programs are there across. So what we do is we go to a school, we measure it, then we start the online program for those children. After the online programs, we again measure those concentration levels. So now what happens in this entire scenario is we are measuring the cognitive skills. We call all this as cognitive skills, could be focus, memory, and all. After measuring, we basically enhance the skills, we enhance the concentration, memory, and all this, and we again re-measure these skills. So now, what happens in a school? If a child is scoring 90%, but the child could be under a lot of stress. The stress, the performance stress is there for the child. Because the child, somebody coming first is always under a pressure that somebody is behind me, somebody at 85, 87%, 80% might overtake me. So the child is
Right.
under mental stress. So how can we reduce that mental stress? How can we make that, improve the time management of the child in adult? So these programs will help the child doing that. At the same time, somebody is scoring 40, 50% below average. The score of that child also goes up. So 50% will go to about 60, 65%, or 90% will reduce the stress. Somebody scoring 60 or 70% will go to about 70 or 80%. So overall, the school's result also keep on going up. So the mental, out of this, the entire program ensures the child's self-confidence goes up, the child's sleep pattern improves, the cognitive skills improve, and there is a complete self-improvement in the child, and there is a mental wellness that happens. So this is the basic purpose of the entire program.
All right. Well, now it's open floor. So, any questions or remarks or discussions that you three have for each other would be welcome at this point.
One question I would like to ask any of the member, which I believe which is prevalent right now, and which I see even with almost every student and every adult, how to decrease the screen time, because this problem is very much, I mean, with the teenagers, even in every age group, it's increasing very much, right? We cannot ask the student to leave the phone because anyhow that it's kind of a hybrid model right now, so online and offline mode, and every student has to use it. So how to decrease that screen time? Because
So see,
unless this screen time will not decrease, the productivity will not increase, the attention span, the focus aspect will not get increased, the mindfulness will not work, because the student is spending almost 7 to 8 hours with this phone, with a phone.
yeah. So Gulshanji, first of all, let's all understand why does a child keep himself or herself busy with a phone? Yeah. So that's the first question that we all need to ask ourselves. Why is it that the child is continuously, because somewhere the mental calmness or mindfulness is not there in the child. Somewhere the child is hyperactive, and there is some or other activity that a child continuously wants to get into. The child wants to keep themselves busy. So now keeping themselves busy is because the calmness level of mind is not there. And there is a lot of work that is required on the calmness level. Now, when we say across calmness level, calmness level is something which is achieved only, a lot of times meditation. But asking children to do meditation is something which is very difficult. People of our age, we can't do meditation. How can we expect children to do meditation? So
Exactly.
somewhere, in market, Vikas, you'll agree with me, in market or probably there are a lot of companies which offer a lot of good programs to improve the calmness level. There are a lot of good music. Like we also provide a lot of good music and all, which basically improves the calmness level. The most important part for any human being to ensure that, like for example, I don't use my mobile for, I don't look at WhatsApp for almost, I look at WhatsApp about 5 or 4 times in a day. That's it. So because the calmness level, somewhere I have achieved that I don't need require to go and look at my keep myself busy. So if we get that calmness level achieved through various activities, through various music and all, then this should solve the problem to a great extent. So somewhere the calmness level needs to be achieved, and for that, a lot of good musics are there, a lot of good programs are there, which basically will help children or probably even adults improve their calmness level.
So
The
can I say
calmness will
indirectly
help.
that it's high time for us to train our mind, indirectly or
Absolutely.
directly?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, we are stressed out. And since we're stressed out, the moment we don't have a device into our hand, the thoughts
Exactly.
start coming in.
Exactly.
That stressful thoughts start coming in. And those stressful thoughts are troubling us. And somewhere to avoid those stressful thoughts, we keep ourselves busy with some devices or some programs, some YouTube, some what is that? Instagram reels. So these all things we keep ourselves busy. So because the stress levels are very high. So if for that the calmness level has to go up, so the stress will automatically come down.
Exactly. That might be. Yes, Arindamji, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just feel that somewhere the usage of phone for students have moved from usage to addiction. So it's
Hmm.
gone to the level of addiction. I'll just tell you something which I'm sure in all the schools it happens. In our schools, as all follows, we do not allow phones. So phone is usage or bringing phone is banned in our school. But students would love to do what you don't want them to do. So they do generally bring it, they sneak in the phone. Then we have this entire team of people who are policing this entire act. And then they go to class wise, they will go to washrooms, they will go even in the false ceiling, they will just remove the false ceiling and put the phones there. So there are different places that they keep in, and then we have this prescreen little thing. And every day, believe me, every day we have almost 3,000 plus students. Every day we get around 25 to 30 phones every day
Confiscated.
confiscated. And the rule is, if your phone is confiscated, then for the next 15 days, you are not going to get your phone.
Hmm. That's a wonderful
You
rule.
won't believe when their phone is confiscated every day, like around 2 o'clock, there'll be a long queue in my office or the coordinator's office, the manager there, telling, literally pleading to give the phone back. It is just like the way, like an addict behaves, exactly that way the children behave when the phone is away from them. And the parents are very happy. They said not 15 days, you keep him, then for 1 month we are the happiest lot. The thing is, the way they'll keep on moving from one place to the other. Their hands will, if you look at their body language only, you will be able to understand that what sort of addiction that they've got into it. So I feel that this will definitely, as Paresh sir said, that mindfulness is the only solution to it. But definitely it will take a lot of time. The entire process of shifting the students from this addiction or taking them out of this addiction, this entire process will take not less than 4 or 5 years if we do not do it in a proactive manner. If we let it go the way it is, it might take a longer period. By the time the students, if they get into the adulthood, then the problem increases. So that's where it is. Yes, of course, sometimes phone becomes necessity. That their parents inform that maybe the students are going for tuition or something like that, so they stay far off. There they deposit the phone. That's absolutely fine. But this is the one which the addiction is the one who actually sneak in the phone into the school. So what I'm trying to say is, this aspect is definitely something which is very alarming, and if we do not take care of it, and what
It's
Paresh
going
sir
to
was
be
also saying, the solutions that he's trying to give, if we don't take care of this and if we take a heed to it, then we are all in trouble.
it's going
It
to be a big
has to be
challenge.
taken, into, like, because the root cause of the problem, the entire problem that we're talking about, when we are looking about whether it is concentration or we are talking about the focused attention, until and unless this gadget is not done away with, we will not be able to bring the students back to this. And let me tell you, like, it has gone to the class level of standard 2, standard 3, that level of students who are being
Agreed.
actually
Exactly. This is.
affected.
Hmm.
And it's not only the social media that we're talking about in terms of Insta or WhatsApp or whatever, but it is also going to class 5 level or 6 level students who are also watching things which are they are not supposed to watch at that point of time,
Yes.
and which is the most dangerous. There are many cases that have happened in our school where the parents are coming and telling us, so
I do agree. Yes, yes, yes.
so these are definitely something which we need to look at it. And I suppose your question is very, very valid, and it is a burning question. If we do not find an answer to it, definitely we are not going to help the students out.
Because I am also facing the same problem. It's very hard for me to decrease my screen time.
गुलशन देखिए, बिल्कुल सही प्रोसेस है कि पहले इसका रूट कॉज ढूंढना पड़ेगा. और उसको अगर और सिंपल वे में देखें ना, तो हर सिगरेट के पैकेट के ऊपर ना बना हुआ पिक्चर, क्या उसके बाद सिगरेट कम हो गया क्या? नहीं. It's all about your willpower. When your desires are lesser than, greater than your belief system, तो ये प्रॉब्लम आएगा ही आएगा. तो बिलीफ सिस्टम को बनाने के लिए अगेन वी हैव टू गो इनटू द फिजिक्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, ना. तो वहां पर कहीं ना कहीं अगर हम बच्चों को ऑब्वियसली, मैं ग्रेड 4-5 की बात नहीं करूंगा, हाँ 7 ऑनवर्ड्स की बात मैं करूंगा. वहां पर अगर उनको लॉजिकली इनसे बात करी जाती है, ऑब्वियसली लॉजिक का वो नहीं है जो हमारे जो फिक्स डायलॉग्स है उस पर नहीं होता. लॉजिकली मतलब जैसे मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ कि किसको नहीं पता कि सांस लेने से ज्यादा अच्छी सांस लेने के लिए आपको यू हैव टू डू सम लॉन्ग डीप ब्रेथ. या किसको हमें से नहीं पता कि मेडिटेशन करने से क्या क्या बेनिफिट्स होंगे, फिर हम क्यों नहीं करते? इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. हमें जब तक उसका रूट कॉज नहीं पता होगा, उसका पूरा पूरा का पूरा चैप्टर, उसका पूरा क्लैरिटी नहीं होगा हमारे पास या हमारे स्टूडेंट के पास, तो ऑब्वियसली हमारे जो क्वेश्चन है हमारे स्टूडेंट के वो अनआंसर्ड रह जाएंगे. जब वो अनआंसर्ड हैं, ऑब्वियसली कहीं ना कहीं उसका अपना विल पावर, देखिए विल पावर वीक है तो अब ये प्रॉब्लम आएगा. मेरे पास क्लैरिटी नहीं है तो मेरे पास ये प्रॉब्लम आएगा, चाहे वो मेरे साथ हो, चाहे वो मेरे स्टूडेंट के साथ हो, चाहे मेरे बच्चे के साथ हो. ये दो चीजें क्लियर करने, क्लैरिटी के लिए अवेयरनेस सेशन चाहिए. अवेयरनेस वो भी तब चाहिए, वो उस लेवल की चाहिए जो आज का बच्चा डिमांड कर रहा है. उसका लेवल लॉजिकली, दे आर मोर इंटेलेक्चुअल, दे आर मोर इंटेलेक्चुअल देन अस. तो दूसरा विल पावर. अब विल पावर स्ट्रॉन्ग करने की बहुत सारी छोटी छोटी टेक्निक्स होती हैं, 60 सेकंड्स की टेक्निक्स होती है जिससे आप विल पावर को स्ट्रॉन्ग कर सकते हो. तो वहां पर व्हाट इज विल पावर? आपका अटेंशन स्पैन इंप्रूव करना है और आपको उस जगह डिस्ट्रैक्शन को कम करना है. विल पावर वहां से आएगी. तो वो टेक्निक ऑब्वियसली करना हमें खुद पड़ेगा.
चलिए लास्ट
मैंने कहीं पढ़ा था,
प्लीज.
हाँ सॉरी, मैंने अभी कहीं स्टेटमेंट पढ़ा भी था. अगर हम नॉर्मली क्या होता है, हम प्रीच करते हैं, प्रैक्टिस नहीं करते, तो वो प्रीच कोई काम का नहीं. प्रैक्टिस.
चलो लेट मी आस्क लास्ट क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम द स्टूडेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, बिकॉज उनका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ओके, सो एज मिस्टर विकास स्टार्टिंग में कुछ उन्होंने बात की थी कि मेरा पढ़ाई में मन नहीं लग रहा, राइट, पढ़ाई में ध्यान नहीं लग रहा है, मेरा मन नहीं लग रहा. सो दिस वॉज, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट ईयर 2000. I believe that you have completed your 12th standard somewhere in between 2002 or 2004, right? So back at those days, challenges were different, right? And nowadays challenges are different. We all agree with this, right? Previously, I mean, let me put it this way, previously the rate of change was constant, and now change is constant, that too in undefined capacity, I would rather say. We don't know how much change is happening right now. What will happen in next 2 years, we are not sure. What will happen in next 5 years, we are not sure. Might be there would be n number of different career options will sprout up. We are not. So the students which are studying in 10th standard, they will work for those professions which has not evolved yet, right? So when we face this kind of problems or challenges, even as a teacher, even as a generation, we are not sure then what to teach, क्या पढ़ाना चाहिए, क्या चीज़ें डिस्कस करनी चाहिए, बिकॉज करंट चैलेंजेस आर डिफरेंट. द चैलेंजेस विच इज फेस्ड बाय द टीचर्स, what different? So how we can bridge this gap? Do we have a mechanism? Do we conduct more teachers training, or do we share more problems, or do we more we can say become friends with the students and we do discuss with all the challenges which they are facing right now? Because sometimes I face a lot of challenges when I conduct some of the programs. Recently I conducted one career guidance program with one of the prominent school in Telangana. So between the break time, a girl came to me and she was in 10th standard. Just understand the problem very categorically. She said to me, sir, I'm not able to study properly. So I said that what is the issue right now? I mean, what's the problem? Sir, my boyfriend is not here. So I said, okay, I mean, where he is? Sorry, he is in Hyderabad. He is in 12th standard and he has gone to, because from Adilabad to, because every student go to Hyderabad for studying IIT and other examinations. So I said, what's the problem? Sir, he is not speaking to me. I go, what happened? I mean, can you do anything right now? No. So I took my time. So she asked me, please give me solution. I'm not able to concentrate. In 9th standard, I was in top 3. And currently I am nowhere. I mean, I'm not sure where I'm going. I want to study, but I'm not able to study at all. So I generally ask this question in my teachers training program. And believe me, those teachers who have just passed out in the bracket of between 22 to 25, they always give me some funny responses. They always give me some near responses. But those teachers who are above 35 or above 45, they don't participate even. For them, it's a foolish question. Do you all agree? Believe me,
Yes.
those teachers who are above 45, they don't even participate, they don't even consider this as a problem. They consider कि यार ये तो टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, यू आर वेस्टिंग योर टाइम, स्टडी फोकस करो, ध्यान कहाँ है तुम्हारा. I took my time and I said, see, currently, right now in Adilabad, you can't do anything, right? If you will be in Hyderabad, there would be a possibility then you can do something. Focus on your examination, have 10 CGPA or 90% marks, then go to Hyderabad, then might be a possibility you will be in a position to do something. This was a solution which was given by me because I was more connected with students, because I मतलब बहुत सारे students है या बहुत friends है connected हैं, so might be possibility उसको अच्छा लगा या उसने उस पर काम किया होगा. So it's high time for us also as a generation that we need to focus on the challenges that the students are facing nowadays, because for them these are some real challenges, these are not some fictional challenges which they are facing, isn't it? Any one of you can share their views.
मुझे ना एक इंसिडेंट याद आ गया. 18 या 19 के आसपास की बात है. तो वी आर इन, हम पंजाब में थे. पंजाब के बहुत टॉप का स्कूल था. वहां पर एलकेजी के स्टूडेंट का कुछ कंप्लेंट था. ऑब्वियसली बात है, जो पेरेंट्स का जो रिएक्शन रहता है, कंप्लेंट ये था कि टीचर ने एलकेजी क्लास के बच्चे को किस करते हुए पकड़ लिया था अपने साथ में पेयर ग्रुप में. थोड़ा सा इशू बना, इशू घर तक गया. तो ऑब्वियसली पहला रिएक्शन क्या आएगा कि पेरेंट्स ने क्या कहना है. और सवाल ही पैदा नहीं होता, चांस ही नहीं है भाई, कहाँ की बात कर रहे हो. उससे ज्यादा शॉकिंग, ये तो मुझे एक्सपेक्टेड था कि पेरेंट का रिएक्शन ही आएगा. उससे ज्यादा शॉकिंग ये था कि टीचर का ये कहना था, मैं बात नहीं करूंगा या करूंगा, क्योंकि सीधा ही तो ब्लेम गेम जाएगा. तो और दूसरा ये पॉसिबल नहीं. तो हमारा यहाँ का टीचर, या अभी आज के जो आप बात कर रहे हो बिल्कुल, मैं बहुत कनेक्ट कर पा रहा हूँ उससे. ये पोस्ट कोविड प्री कोविड का तो लेना देना नहीं है.
Exactly.
ये तो बहुत जेनरिक ये होता है. जब भी कोई इस तरह की टफ सिचुएशन आती है जहां हम खुद कंफर्टेबल फील नहीं करते, और वहां पर एज ब्रैकेट, क्योंकि हमारे पहले जो डिकेड्स में जैसा रहा है हमारे यहाँ का इंडियन कल्चर रहा है, उसके अकॉर्डिंग उनकी अपब्रिंगिंग हुई है. तो उनके लिए बहुत टफ क्वेश्चन है. जो अभी अरिंदम सर भी बोल रहे थे कि अभी ग्रेड 3rd 4th 5th के अंदर ऐसे बहुत सारे सीन हुए हैं, ऐसी बहुत सारे दिक्कतें आई हैं जो उनको नहीं देखना चाहिए, वो भी देख रहे हैं. तो मुझे 2020 के बाद मेरे पास अप्रॉक्स 38 केसेस आए थे इस तरह के. और उस दिन मैं बहुत फ्रस्ट्रेटेड था. देन आई मेड अ वीडियो कि कम से कम पेरेंटिंग तो ढंग से कर लो. अगर इस तरह का क्वेश्चन आ भी रहा है, अगर आपको देख भी लिया आपके बच्चा इस तरह पिच कर रहे हैं, तो मतलब पेरेंटिंग तो ढंग की कर लो. उसको मतलब एक इंडियन पेरेंट क्या करता है, पहला ही ऐसा उसने सिगरेट पीते हुए देख लिया, उसने पॉर्न देखते हुए देख लिया, या ऐसा कुछ को देख लिया, तो पहला ये होगा वो घर आएगा और पिटेगा. ये टायर 3 हो, चाहे विलेज का हो, चाहे वो टायर 2 हो, और मेट्रो में हो सकता है कोई शायद कोई 5% कम चांस हो, अदरवाइज कोई चांस ही नहीं है. उसके बाद क्या वो बच्चा नहीं करेगा? ऐसा नहीं है. अब वो बताएगा नहीं बस.
So instead of avoiding those questions, instead of avoiding those questions or situations, we should be vocal about it.
Yes.
There has to be a channel which needs to be kept open between the children and the teachers or the parents. The moment this channel is broken off, and the kids are not going to communicate, and somewhere, as Vikaas ji rightly said, this अगर वो आप चैनल रखेंगे हम लोग, अगर तो वो पीटना is not a solution. That channel gets broken off. The moment you hit the child and you threaten a child, not you hit the child, threaten a child. सर कि ये बहुत गलत काम किया है by threatening, that it's not going to work. Rather than that communication needs to be more more sober, wherein you need to sit with the child, explain what is not the right part of it, and that should basically help. So that channel जो आप बोल रहे थे कि भाई वो एक चैनल बिल्डअप होना चाहिए, चैनल रहना चाहिए बच्चों के बीच में, और टीचर्स और पेरेंट्स के बीच में होना चाहिए. That has to be there.
उसके लिए बस ये क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए कि हमें हिपोक्रेट नहीं होना, क्योंकि पेरेंट का बहुत एक क्लियर है, एज ए पेरेंट अगर हम भी पेरेंट हैं, यार सारी बात बताया कर, मैं मेरे बच्चे से बोल रहा हूँ, सारी बात बता दे, कहीं को दिक्कत हो ना मुझसे बात कर लिया कर, बाहर मत करना किसी से बात, है ना, क्यों आजकल पता नहीं फ्रेंडशिप बाहर कैसे होगी। अब बच्चे को भी लगा, कॉन्फिडेंस आया ना, उसने आके बता दिया, ऐसे एक छोटी सी बात बता दिया, मुझे 10 साल का बच्चा है, मुझसे शेयर कर रहा है, पापा मुझे क्लास में मेरी गर्ल है, मुझे अच्छी लगती है, यहाँ पापा ने हाथ उठा दिया। अब पापा एक तरफ तो हिपोक्रेसी हो गई ना यार, आप बोल कुछ और रहे हो, कर कुछ और रहे हो, तो आप ओपन अप हो रहे हो, तो मतलब क्लैरिटी तो रखनी पड़ेगी इन माइंड में व्हाट एग्जैक्टली
In
व्हाट यू आर
nutshell,
एक्सपेक्टिंग फ्रॉम योर
sir, in nutshell, we should be vocal about it. Our actions and words
Yes.
should match. Yes,
Should be
Arindam.
match,
Sir,
match.
please.
Yeah, I feel, first of all, when it comes to students and children, I think we should start, whether it's teachers or parents, we should start reacting. Responding is very, very important than
Exactly.
reacting.
Right.
And what just now Vikaas sir was also talking about is all the reaction that because there is a mindset that we have, and those activity that the child has done doesn't fall under our mindset, so we react to it. Right? I'll give you an example. A class 3 child, what he did was, he took a wire and he's put both the wires and two ends of the socket, and he switched the on. Obviously, you know what happens, it burst. Okay, burst. It became a very big thing. So he was brought to me, third standard child. So teacher, was really scandalized seeing this destructive element. So she brought the child to me. So I said, okay, fine. So then I told him that, do you know what happened? Why did it burst? Did you know that this is going to happen? He said, no, I didn't know. I wanted to know. So then what I did was, I called my our lab assistant. I told him, you take him to the physics lab and tell him the entire circuit of, in your own way. Explain to him, and then tell him why, when these two wires went in, and if you switch it on, why did it happen? And he took him there. Two classes I did not let him attend. He went to the physics lab. He understood the entire thing, and then I called him back. And then I asked him that, tell me now what went wrong. And he explained the entire thing in his own way. So what I'm trying to say is, this sort of, I think one of our panel was talking about, give them a reason out. I think this reasoning out is very, very important. If I find a child of standard 5 or 6 watching porn, yes, first thing, I will be scandalized and I will be furious if I'm a parent or a teacher or somebody. I think we need to reason it out, why this is not what it should be at your age, and what is it meant for, and how is it going to affect you in this entire thing. I think this process association is very, very important for us. And I'll go to your first part of your question that you were talking about, that the futuristic world we do not know. Another 5 years, 8 years, 10 years down the line, with the advent of artificial intelligence, where will the career go? In what focuses will it move? We do not know exactly. I feel for that is why CBSE is also talked about, and our NEP 2020 has given a lot of impetus. That's the competency-based learning, preparing the students for the skill. Earlier, we used to only focus on the knowledge, and we used to only focus on what to know. Now it is not only what to know, we should also know how to know, and then the skills associated of what we know. So if I know XYZ, then how do I apply the XYZ in my life, and what is it going to happen to it, is what the competency is all about. And that's what NEP 2020 also is focusing on. I'm sure once NCVF will come in, we will be able to see a lot in the entire thing. And we've already started, like right from standard 5, 6 onwards, the skill-based association, skill-based teaching is such an important aspect, because we know we need to prepare them for life.
Exactly.
You just imagine a child of 3 years old, he comes to our school or any school in nursery. So we are preparing him for 57 years, 60 years, he will go retired. So we are preparing for a 3-year-old for the next 57 years, how he or she is going to manage in this formative age. And whatever happens, let me tell you, my friends, I'm sure you will agree to this fact that whatever happens, whatever learning happens in the formative age stays with the child.
Exactly.
Whatever pattern of learning that they develop, as an educationist also, like if you talk about learning, is like, if you look at the theory of learning also, learning is a very complex association. An element of distraction, an element of de-attention can really take my learning into a different sort of a level. and look at the way we are processing in terms of learning. Is it a classroom, blackboard, whiteboard teaching learning? Is it, or we are looking at learning by experience? So what I'm saying is, if these, that's why NEP is also giving so much of importance to experiential learning, bring in art into this learning, bring in sports into this learning, so that we can come out of this, the chalk and talk method, and we can make the
Exactly.
students experience what they are learning through different modes. I think that is very important, and if we can do that, I can guarantee you, we will, for the next 10 years, we will be able to prepare our students for life, because that's what it is, the focus. See, I have, in this entire career of mine, I have seen, like, students are coming out of the school, passing out from school on 10th standard or 12th standard with this undigested lump of information, which they know nothing about it. They have literally, crammed it. Okay, they have crammed and they have written it in the examination. They might have got 90% also. But how to apply it, how to take it forward? Like, I being a maths teacher, like, for example, if I have to ask a boy, there is a very, just imagine there is a very big pit, and if a boy has to jump from one pit to the one side of the pit to the other side of the pit, crossing it, you know what he's applying? He's applying calculus. If a boy has to throw, if I give him a basketball and I have to ask him to put in, he's also applying calculus there, in spite of, like, the fact that he might not be knowing that, he is doing it.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying is, these applications play such an important role. I know when the ball is coming to a particular, speed, and I need to hit it, or I have to hit it in which direction. I'm actually looking at the force and the pressure and the entire aspect of physics that has been taught. But do we know that? Why not? Because we have studied it in compartmental positions. I have no link between X with Y. I do not understand with Y and Z until and unless we do not bring it, until unless this. That's why we are giving so much importance to skill education. Until unless we do not know how to apply it, it's not going to make any sense.
So there is a huge onus on the teacher's shoulder.
Absolutely. And let me tell you one more important thing. That is why NEP 2020 has, it's such a, you can see as revolutionary document. We can actually change our school, our country's educational, scenario in the next 20-25 years, if we at all follow it in letter and spirit. We are waiting for NCF to come as schools, because the NCF is going to be, it's a Bible for us, and that's going to help us in developing. NEP just gives us a vision.
Exactly.
This is what is we are looking for, and NCF will be giving us the roadmap. So what I'm saying is, until and unless NCF does, if we are following this entire association of NEP, it also talks about how do we associate learning with, break the silos. Silos is the compartmentalization. And how do we associate learning in its true spirit? If we can do that, it's saying that every Saturday, don't have a class. Do a project, it is mentioned in NEP. Do a project for schools. I'm talking about, of course, NEP has got three parts. The first part is the school part of it. Do a project where the student is going to apply everything he or she has studied the entire week. Whether in maths or physics or chemistry or bio or social science or English or the languages, any other language. Where they can connect to what they are learning. I think that is what, and that's what is, we are talking about mindfulness. That's why you're mindful about what you have learned and how you're applying yourself. I've always, being a maths teacher, I've always been challenged with this question, saying that, sir, you tell us trigonometry, where do we use trigonometry?
A lot of web series.
I want to study history in my future. Why should I study trigonometry? Tell me. Or why should I know about anything about any other factors? How is it going to help you? So the thing is,
student do ask. Where the integration or differentiation help us. I started
absolutely.
in 12th standard.
It is.
Even
It is not the content. What develops when you're studying it? It develops your skill of thinking. It develops your level, like we say, knowing. There is a reference of thinking point where we are going from knowing to creating. That's how the thinking association says. So what I'm saying is, it develops your abilities to think. So when I'm talking about how to think, is what it matches.
No, as a leader, of course, yes, this all makes sense. As a leader, you are talking, all the things are making absolute sense to me. But what I think, I mean, a lot of teachers, they do not take the responsibility. I mean,
I was coming to that point actually. I was coming to that point. NEP says that the teacher should have minimum 50 hours of training. All
mandatory
teachers,
training.
mandatory, right? 50 to 80 hours of training. That's what has become, and CBSE has made it mandatory. You want affiliation, you have to see to it that your school, your teachers should have 80 or 50 or 60, 70, 80 hours of training. The training itself is, we are talking about mental hygiene, we are talking about mental association, we
There are
are
different
talking about,
topics.
the mindfulness. Let me tell you, my friend, I don't think 90% of our teachers will even understand what exactly it is. I'm sorry to say that, being an educationist myself. We need to train them. If you look at our B.Ed course also, where does it actually help? It is so theoretical. If I saying that I need to bring in Bloom's taxonomy in my class, what is it? How do I bring that? How do I apply that in my student? And how will
Exactly.
my student help? If my child is, if a child in my class is thinking about her boyfriend in Hyderabad, how can I bring her back and help her
That
to see
is,
to it
that
that,
is.
let her understand what, learn what she's supposed to learn now. How can I help her to take her frame of mind from there, and then, are our teachers ready for that? I don't think we are. And keeping that in mind, if we are, until and unless we do not change the way we are looking at in, as far as our classroom teaching is concerned, until and unless we do not change, until unless we do not follow anything in the
Exactly.
2020 minutes later in spirit, I don't think we will be it will be possible. So teachers training is very, very important, my friend. Until
Crucial.
unless we don't do that, I think that is why people like Vikas sir and Paresh sir will be chipping in, where their expertise, through their expertise, I think that if the teachers are trained, I think then only, until and unless their expertise doesn't come down to a classroom, doesn't support a child who needs support, until and unless it's not done, then it makes no sense. But let me tell you, I'm an optimistic, and I will always be an optimist. I have a feeling that we will surely be able to see. Let us again meet in 2030, and we will be able to talk about what we have talked about today. Yes, we did. That is
Let me
what
add
my
on a couple of points. Basically, if you really see, there's a report which came in from the World Development Forum in terms of what are the future jobs going to be like. In this world of automation, a lot of things are changing across, and with this changing across, the you don't a lot of type of jobs are changing. It is not that there won't be a requirement of a maintenance engineer. There will be a requirement of a maintenance engineer, but the type of job that a maintenance engineer does is going to be different. He has to just sit on a computer, run certain tests, and he gets a report. He doesn't have to go and actually clean the machine. But in this case, there are certain skills which are going to be very important. And those skills are going to be the cognitive skills and the behavioral skills, like problem solving skills, creativity, critical thinking, out of box thinking, memory. So these all skills are going to be very primary skills which are going to be very important. And at this point of time, somewhere the new education policy is talking about it. This is, we are on the brink of a fifth industrial revolution, if you really see. 70, sorry, 7060 was the first industrial revolution that happened across. With the steam engine, and then 1900 the assembly line, and 1970 the computer came in, 2000 the internet age came in. And after, if you really see the time of industrial revolutions from 140 years dropped down to 70 years to 40 years, in under 20-25 years we're sitting on a fifth industrial revolution. So these things are changing very fast, and this new education policy has somewhere identified this importance of this cognitive skills to a great extent, and they have started focusing on it. And I think if it's implemented, as Arindamji rightly said, if it's implemented properly, believe me, we are trying to create good future and efficient citizens for the future. That's something which is very critical. So I hope, we are this time we are ahead of time, because every time, we are lagging behind the time. The time goes by, and we actually put corrective measures in place. We are not proactive. So this time it looks like, the new education policy is proactive. So if it's implemented, and under 10-15 years, because I'm looking at what 2022 was it to be implemented this year. So
Yes.
15 years of education. So 2040 looks like it's going to be, we are going to have good kids out, ready for the future world. Let's hope so.
Thank you, everyone. Nikita, you can summarize, just finish it off. Yes.
I think it was too vast to summarize, but in a nutshell, it means that everybody needs to be more empathetic, more open towards the problem of the students. We have to walk a mile or at least step a step in their shoe before we move on to the stage where we want to mentor them to be a better kid or to be a better person in life. And I think it's a responsibility that has to be shared by everyone. Every step has to be just the right amount of functional, just the right amount of optimistic, just the right amount of everything. So yes, it's of course luck, it's really good planning that's needed, and of course we need people like you working in the field. So like, thank you for doing that, for being the people who are bringing this change, bringing this being ahead of the curve, accepting changes and thinking about the students welfare. And we hope to see better changes in the future. And thank you for joining on the
Thank you so
webinar.
much.
It was
Thank you.
a
Thank you, everyone.
wonderful, wonderful learning experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Inspired
you,
Valley,
sir.
for
Thank
arranging
you.
these types of webinars. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a
Thank you,
nice
Gulshan.
day.